What if I told you the biggest name in country music right now once thought his life would end behind bars? Keep listening, because this story proves that no mistake is too big for a comeback. Picture this: a 14-year-old kid sitting in a cold cell, wondering if this is all life has to offer. That kid was Jason DeFord. The world would later know him as Jelly Roll. Growing up in Antioch, Tennessee wasn't the fairy tale you hear about in country songs. His home was a battlefield. His mother was fighting addiction. His father was barely keeping the lights on. The streets became his teacher, and they taught him all the wrong lessons. By his teens, he wasn't just flirting with trouble. He was drowning in it. Drug dealing, fights, a revolving door between freedom and concrete walls. For more than a decade, that was his reality. While other kids were at prom, he was counting the days. While friends celebrated graduations, he was losing years he could never get back. Most people would have given up. Most people would have accepted that this was their destiny. But something inside him refused to die. In one of those cold, lonely cells, something miraculous happened. Not an escape. Not a pardon. Something quieter, something stronger. He started writing. Raw, unfiltered, brutally honest verses. Lyrics about guilt that keeps you awake at night. About missing your daughter's first steps. About wondering if redemption is even real, or just a story people tell to feel better. Then one night, a beat-up radio in the cell block crackled to life. 3-6 Mafia was playing. Memphis legends who clawed their way out of the same streets that were swallowing him whole. And right there, in that moment, a dangerous thought entered his mind. What if I could do that too? It was foolish. It was impossible. But it was hope. And hope is what keeps you breathing when logic tells you to quit. When he finally walked out of those gates, Jelly Roll didn't have a record deal waiting. No manager. No industry connections. Just a notebook full of pain and a cheap microphone in a small room. He started uploading songs to YouTube, the only stage he could afford. The sound was different. Hip-hop swagger mixed with country heartbreak. A genre Nashville didn't know how to label. The industry ignored him. Radio stations passed. Executives said he was too risky, too rough, too real. But the people, the broken, the forgotten, the ones still fighting, they heard him loud and clear. His songs became lifelines. For addicts in recovery. For parents who made mistakes. For anyone who felt like their past was a prison they could never escape. Songs like Save Me didn't just chart, they changed lives. Son of a Sinner wasn't just catchy. It was a confession and a prayer wrapped in melody. Then came 2023. The CMT Awards. Millions watching. Jelly Roll walked onto that stage, tattooed, emotional, carrying every ounce of his story in his voice. When he performed Need a Favor, something happened that can't be scripted. The room went silent. Not polite silence. Breathless silence. His voice cracked with emotion. Tears streamed down faces in the crowd. Even the cameras shook. That moment wasn't just a performance. It was a resurrection. By the next morning, the internet was on fire. Billboard crowned him. Spotify streams exploded. But more importantly, millions saw themselves in him. The ex-convict became the voice of redemption. Here's what the headlines miss. Jelly Roll could have taken his fame and disappeared. He could have built a wall between himself and his past. Instead, he went back to the prisons that once held him. He sat with kids in juvenile detention, kids who looked just like he did at 14, and told them, "I was you, and if I can make it out, you can too." He started funding music programs for at-risk youth, because he knows sometimes a melody can reach you when nothing else can. He's still open about his demons, about waking up some mornings feeling like an imposter, about the weight of carrying millions of people's hope on your shoulders. And that vulnerability, that's his superpower. Listen, I don't care what you've done. I don't care how far you've fallen, or how permanent your mistakes feel. Jelly Roll's story proves your worst chapter doesn't have to be your final one. He went from being inmate number 465011 to selling out arenas nationwide, from being written off by society to being celebrated by it. Not because he became perfect, but because he stayed real. If this story stirred something in you, smash that like button. Let's get this in front of someone who needs to hear it today. Drop a comment below. What's your comeback story? or which Jelly Roll song hit you the hardest. And make sure to subscribe, because we're diving into more artists who prove that rock bottom can still be the start of something beautiful. Remember this: your story isn't over. It's just getting to the good part.